Have you ever paid the price for doing what's right? What if telling the truth cost you everything? Your job, your name, even your future? What if the only way to respond wasn't through retaliation, but through rebuilding? Stronger, cleaner, and unstoppable. Elena Carrington never imagined her career would collapse overnight. A seasoned commercial pilot with more than 2 decades in the skies, she had earned her reputation through precision, discipline, and an unshakable moral compass. But all of that unraveled the day she uncovered a deeply buried truth beneath Altakai's polished image and surging profits. She had stumbled upon altered maintenance records, willful neglect of safety violations, and executives ready to gamble with lives in the name of profit. It began subtly, an odd report here, a quietly sidelined plane there. But when Elena began cross-checking logs and uncovered discrepancies that pointed straight to budget-driven corner-cutting, the truth hit her like a headwind. This wasn't oversight, it was organized deceit. When she voiced her concerns internally, she was met not with accountability but with resistance. Stonewalled, then quietly ostracized. By the time she confided in Harold Winters, her former mentor and a retired director of operations, Elena had already been labeled a liability. The day after she raised her concerns to senior leadership, she was walked out of the building. Officially, it was due to a restructuring. Unofficially, she had become a threat. She sat in her car, stunned, while Altakai continued flying jets she knew should be grounded. That night, her phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Fellow pilots were calling, not to offer sympathy, but to report something remarkable. Flights were being cancelled, aircraft left idle. Not because of any strike, but because pilots were refusing to fly planes they no longer trusted. Then came the call from Lisa Brennan, a federal aviation safety inspector who had gotten wind of the altered reports. Elena gave her a full account and connected her to others ready to speak out. Slowly, the gears of justice began to turn. While investigations loomed, a surprising message arrived from Victor Chen, CEO of Skyward Global. He had followed the Altakai debacle and saw not just a scandal but an opening to lead by example. In a sleek tower high above the city, Victor extended Elena an extraordinary offer: full authority to design and lead a new training and operations division, free from interference. Unlimited support. Fair compensation. Total control. Skeptical, she asked, "Why me?" His answer was simple: because people will follow someone who puts lives above profit. Elena said yes. In the weeks that followed, she threw herself into the work, designing an elite training facility outfitted with next-generation simulators and high-tech classrooms. Victor never second-guessed a single decision. Every proposal got the green light. And then it happened. The FAA grounded Altakai indefinitely for review. As the fallout spread, Elena's former colleagues reached out, not looking for pity, but for purpose. 30 pilots, led by Chief Instructor Catherine Reynolds, walked through the doors of the new facility, dressed in plain clothes, flight bags slung over their shoulders. "Welcome to Skyward," Elena said softly, understanding this was no longer about her vindication. It was about creating something better, together. Within weeks, Altakai's stock nosedived. CEO Jeffrey Whitman stepped down amid public outrage. News headlines tracked hundreds of cancelled flights, massive financial losses, and a surge of lawsuits. Skyward, by contrast, was soaring. 6 months in, Elena stood beside Harold on the tarmac as a Skyward 787 Dreamliner touched down, flawlessly piloted by Catherine. The airline had captured key premium routes. Elena's training program was now regarded as the new industry benchmark. Harold turned to her, amused. "Altakai's board asked me to come back as CEO." "You said no?" she asked. He smiled. "I told them they're about to ask you next." She already knew. That morning, she had received a letter from Altakai's new chairman, asking if she'd consider taking a leadership role to help repair what they had destroyed. Watching Catherine wave from the cockpit, Elena gave her answer, not in words, but in certainty. "I'm exactly where I need to be." She hadn't just rebuilt her career, she had set a new standard. One grounded in integrity, safety, and human worth. As sunlight reflected off the aircraft bound for Tokyo, Elena Carrington smiled. It wasn't silence that made her strong. It was action. And sometimes, The most powerful revenge isn't retribution, it's creating something they can never tear down.